And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks so much for spending some time with us, subscribing to the YouTube channel. We're up 700% on the YouTube, by the way. Appreciate that. And we got a great day here. We got Representative Berny Jacques back in studio with us. It's been a little while since we had you on air with us. Give us a little teaser what we're going to talk about today, Bernie.
All right, we've got a lot going on. We're going to talk property taxes. We're going to talk about Florida being a law and order state, preparing for hurricane season. A lot of good stuff.
Yep, I like it. All right, and then also we have our party coming up, so let's get the announcements out of the way. Thursday, July 3rd, 6 o'clock, we're celebrating Independence Day for these great United States of America. It's our monthly gratitude party at an awesome location, Crown and Bull in Dunedin. We're friends with the owner there. Dion's a great guy. Thursday, July 3rd, 6 o'clock, Crown and Bull, downtown Dunedin. That's the place to be, Dave.
It sure is. As a matter of fact, it's our second time being there because it was so much fun and great ambiance the first time. So ambiance is fantastic, of course. Food is even better. The appetizers are covered by the MVP team, Platinum team, of course. And again, it's Crown and Bull right downtown Dunedin, 319 Main Street. Lots of parking in the back, of course. July 3rd, wear your red, white, and or blue, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Great time to ask all your questions, meet the other show expert contributors, and have some good times.
Yeah, absolutely. So want to remind you about the show. You know, our hotline. You can call into the show hotline. You can hit us up on consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. Submit the emails there. Subscribe to the show on all the socials. And remember, you know, not just real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning. We're covering a lot of other areas. You know, we represent a company selling American-made products, non-woke products, things that you use every day in your kitchen, bathrooms, beef and chicken, all kinds of great stuff. We also have our expert contributors for the auto industry. Maybe you're into aviation. Speaking of aviation, Will's Way Foundation. I'm the executive director, Will Smith Aviation and Gray Bull Rescue, completing another mission. This one's kind of just now coming out a couple days ago. Another mission down in Haiti, rescuing some children that were caught up in the mess when gangs take over. You see those types of scenarios play out. So another rescue by Gray Bull Rescue and our friend Will Smith, Erica Smith, Will's Way Foundation, and coordinating those efforts as well, of course, with the U.S. government. So we're the good guys here, helping you win in any marketplace, as we say. A couple of hot listings, and we'll jump into it. We're going to go over some stats on the real estate market as well. It's interesting. One of the month's supply in real estate up 45% year-over-year change. It went from 2.5 months to 3.5 months in terms of supply and inventory. So we help you win in your real estate deals as well. Our highest duty is to get you maximum exposure on your listings, maximum profit. We feature all of our listings live on air, broadcast show, up and down the entire Gulf Coast of Florida. So, all right, let's start with some of our hot listings here. We got a brand new listing at 3308 Landing Place. This one just hit the market. Cobb's Landing, Palm Harbor, 3-bedroom plus an office, 3.5 bath, 2-car garage, 3,031 square feet. You have well over a third of an acre lot. Private marina, boat slips on Lake Tarpon, access to the restaurant there, Tarpon Turtle, gated tennis courts, basketball courts, waterfront park, playground, scenic trail walks. 3308 Landing Place, Palm Harbor, Florida. 221 Howard Drive, another one of my favorites. Beautiful waterfront property here. 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,500 square feet, exclusive Bel Air Beach location. Gorgeous 3-island kitchen with Thermador appliances, saltwater pool, 100 linear feet of water frontage, deep water access to the Gulf of Mexico. Historic Howard Drive boasts one of the highest land elevations in the area, and you're only 1 block to beach access, where you can see the dolphin-filled waters and sugar sand beaches of beautiful Pinellas County, the best place to live, work, and play in Tampa Bay. That is Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Palm Harbor, Bradenton, all the cool areas that we have here in and around our location here in Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Berny Jacques, welcome back in, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Let's jump into it. One of the biggest things when I'm talking to people out there is, man, how cool would that be if we can actually, maybe not fully eliminate, it'd be awesome, but even if we can substantially reduce the property taxes in this state. Here's a quick clip, and then I'll have your reaction.
While Florida property values have surged in recent years, this has come at a cost to taxpayers, squeezed by increasing local government property taxes. Taxpayers need relief. You buy a home, you pay off the mortgage, and yet you still have to write a check to the government every year just for the privilege of living on your own private property.
So they're saying, hey, he goes on to say they're studying the issue. What does that mean, studying the issue, Bernie?
Well, in the Florida House, we started a committee. It's a select committee on property taxes where we're looking at a lot of options to put before the voters to actually take some actions when it comes to property taxes. So just to kind of give your listeners a framework, any significant move on property taxes is going to have to be done through a constitutional amendment. So it would have to be voted on by the people of the state of Florida. We as a legislature, we can't do it on our own. And so we're looking at several proposals that will put it on the ballot, everything from eliminating it altogether and everything in between, or extending or expanding the homestead exemptions that we currently have. These are the type of things we're looking into right now.
Yeah, it makes sense because things have changed so much. Values went through the roof. People were fleeing these lockdown states. They're getting locked down and prosecuted. I mean, in other states like the McCluskeys, remember that case? They came out and they, simply had their guns in their own yard brandishing, and they were the ones arrested. I mean, so some of these states, people are saying, hey, wow, this is pretty damn close to communism. I can't live here anymore. They flood to Florida. Our property values go up. And then guess who's having to pay for it 4 or 5 years later? The property owner, right, Bernie?
Exactly. When all of this was happening, all of the unrest nationwide, the shutdowns, Florida was a shining example for our nation. We became known as the free state of Florida. And because of that, a lot of people flocked down here. And one of the things of the unintended impacts is that the property values soared. Yeah. And so you have Floridians who've been living here all their lives, have been owning their property, obviously seeing a jump in their property values, and that's going to correlate to the type of taxes they're going to have to dish out to their local government. And a lot of people are wondering, do I own my home or don't I? Right? Yeah. I mean, especially if government can come and just take it away from you, that is an issue that we are looking into. So I'll run through a few of the proposals. One of them addresses that issue. We want to put in the ballot that government cannot foreclose on your property if it's homesteaded. And so, again, if government can come in and confiscate your own home just because there's a property tax lien, you probably don't really own your home. Yeah, right? You're probably just paying rent to the government. And I think that would be so offensive if our founding fathers came back and saw this, they would reject it wholesale. Right. Another thing that we're going to do and we're looking into is to put a ballot initiative, making every city, every county that taxes the people when it comes to property taxes to put it to the voters whether or not they want to eliminate it altogether. Because property taxes is a function of local government, so it's coming from your city, your county, special districts. And so one of the things we're looking into is to make sure that they put it on their ballot so every voter in those particular municipalities or counties can make that decision. Homestead exemption, we're looking at $500,000 base, $500,000 base homestead exemption. So if your home is worth up to $500,000 or less, I mean, it's basically no taxes. Right. And then particularly for seniors, folks who are over 65 or have owned their home for 30 years, we're looking at $1 million homestead exemption for those folks.
Yeah, I like that. You build it in. It makes sense. That's absolutely right. An issue like that's got to be 80-20, right? But then you think about some of the other issues happening in our country right now with men and women's sports. It's an 80-20 issue, but the left still peddles that stuff. I mean, it just happened to a softball team. I mean, these stories are unbelievable. And, I want to get to the riots too and the protests. It seems to be sweeping across the country now. I think the solution, and you hear a lot of this rumors, or on speculation on social, is find out the money guys, start arresting the people at the top of these schemes.
Absolutely. Look, I think what we saw during the 2020 quote unquote summer of love, mostly peaceful protests, which were really riots. Yep. Look, there was a lot of funding behind that. A lot of these things are not organic. When you look at some of the I mean, Elon uncovered a lot of this, right?
Yeah,
With
Twitter files.
USAID and then the files, exactly. NGOs that are being involved. I mean, these things are being orchestrated at some level.
Yes.
And so we have to go after the people at the top. We have to make sure to hold the thugs accountable as well. And we can't let up. I mean, we can't flinch when it comes to that type
Right.
of a thing. And we got to make people think twice before they throw objects at law enforcement vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, things that if it struck somebody, it could have killed somebody.
Right.
Right here in our streets in America, it's totally unacceptable for that to be able to occur. We need to respond in a very strong manner.
Where did we see that happen in the state of Florida, if at all, Bernie? Does any of that kind of, I mean, is there any spots in Florida where it kind of bubbles up like that? Because Atlanta's pretty big with some of that that left wing rhetoric and these so-called protests. And again, there's a lot of money behind them. But where are we most vulnerable at in Florida?
So thank goodness in Florida, we are a law and order state under the leadership of Governor DeSantis and us and the legislature who work with the governor on these issues. You won't see a lot of these things occur. You might see them pop up here and there, but they're going to get squashed pretty quick.
Right.
In fact, back in 2020, we saw some flare-ups here and there, even right here in Hillsborough.
Yeah, Hillsborough.
They burned down the Champ store, right?
Yep,
And
Tampa,
so
yeah.
in Tampa. So there was a lot going on, but we cracked down and we eventually put into law stronger measures for that to not occur in the first place.
Right.
We have the strongest anti-rioting laws in these United States. And so if somebody thinks they're just going to go and riot and cause social disturbances that affects the lives of we law-abiding citizens, you're going to find yourself in a jail cell. If you think you're going to block somebody from getting to work by blocking our roads
Yep.
and our streets, you've got another thing coming. It may not end well for you on that street, number one.
Yep.
And secondly, the law will hold you accountable in a strong manner.
Absolutely. We're talking with Berny Jacques here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. And yeah, right along those lines, it's like, hey, look, if you don't like this country so much and you don't like it all boils down to the Judeo-Christian founding of our country, right? So name a book. I like how Charlie Kirk says it. He's in Oxford, and what a leader he is with the youth movement and colleges, etc. But he says if you don't like the Bible, you don't like the following in that creed that we kind of subscribe to here in the West, name another book and go ahead and name an author and bring it to the forefront, because nothing stands up to what we are based on here in these great United States. It's all about personal freedoms. It's the right to speak. And by the way, the First Amendment's to speak. The Second Amendment's to have a gun in case you try to keep me from speaking. Right? I mean, so what other creed? What do they have? What do they offer up? Right at that point.
Exactly. Look, our country was founded on those biblical truths, and our founding fathers understood this. And if you look at the way we earned our independence, it wasn't just by the actions of men. There had to be providence in play,
Yes.
and there was. And these men went to the Lord in prayer, and the country was founded upon that, granting widespread liberties to its citizens.
Amen.
that
That's
we've
right.
never seen on a global scale. We've never seen other nations do. It reversed the understanding that our rights actually come from God.
Yes.
And government's only here to protect it. It's
That's
not.
right.
It didn't come to you by some government, by some king. They are inalienable rights. This was a radical thought at the time, and look what it produced: the greatest
Yep.
nation that we've ever known.
That's right. Absolutely. People are dying to get in this country. They're coming up with all these schemes, and you got one party in our country that used an open border. They actually they took away the ability to DNA test. So you got these men carrying the little kids across, and the administration, Biden administration, took away. Like, in other words, no, you can't test if this is that person's actual kid. That's a trafficker bringing these kids across the border. So you ask yourself out there, which side's evil and which side's good? Which side's on the side of virtue and which side's coming up with all these crazy new ideas that women can be, all men can have birth, all this kind of craziness, right? Which side are you on?
Absolutely. During those last 4 years under the Biden regime, we saw some pretty radical things. And you touched upon it at the border. They're not verifying if unaccompanied minor or an accompanied minor that's with an adult is even related to that adult.
Right.
And then they're letting them go on their merry way. Meanwhile, they're being trafficked. And a lot of children have actually gone missing in the border, on the border. And this is something Congressman Luna locally has been looking into.
Yes.
And some others as well. I mean, sick things that are occurring,
Absolutely.
and they're turning a blind eye to it. And thank goodness the American people got it right when they voted Donald J. Trump back into office in a landslide fashion.
Thank God, absolutely. Yeah, one of my favorite verses in the Bible is the one that says something to the effect that, the devil is like a roaring tiger, lion roaming around looking for something to devour.
Exactly.
Right, and that's what they just served up to him. They said, hey, let's open this border, let's let the lion roam all around and devour countless young women, men being traded in that, young kids. And then they'll never come up missing. They're going to come up missing their entire life because they're going from one hotel room to the next, drugged, fed, and Biden, Kamala opened that up, and they did that.
Absolutely. And in that verse you reference, it starts by saying, be alert, be watchful.
That's it.
Because, we have to be. And if you don't see it coming, I mean, it's going to come at you real quick. And so it's incumbent upon all of us as citizens to be watchful when these schemes are being played out. And certainly those of us who are in government, we have to know this is also a spiritual battle.
Absolutely. It is. Amen for that. All right, Bernie, good stuff. More with Berny Jacques. He is right here. He's our local rep out of Largo, right? Is that Largo rep right here, state rep for Largo area. Berny Jacques on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More with him coming up. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you. We are up big time on social media now. Shout out to the production team, everything we're doing online, rocking and rolling. Subscribe to the show and at Brandon Rimes 1 at CQB Show. We'll be right back. More with State Rep Berny Jacques.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894. consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com. Looking to level up your sales game? With 20 plus years of coaching experience spanning across several industries, Lindsay Rimes helps everyone from entry-level reps to seasoned business owners boost sales, improve work-life balance, and retain top talent with customized options catered to personal, group, or corporate settings. Brandon and Lindsay Rimes offer training on negotiation strategy, business development, and more. Let's grow your business together. Call 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Submit an email at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here in studio with Representative Berny Jacques joining us in studio here. A couple of hot listings. We'll jump right back into it. 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon. This is another one of our hot listings. This is it's got to be the best price townhome in this zip code, in this area, general area. It's 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 1-car garage, 1917 square foot, new flooring. You got a level 2 EV charger out there in the garage. Beautiful kitchen, lighter color kitchen cabinetry, and stainless steel appliances. Gorgeous property, new flooring as well. 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon, Florida, and a large community pool there. I love that oversized pool. All right, 9594 Southeast Maricamp Road. We sell commercial, we sell vacant land, residential properties. We sell your businesses as well. 9594 Southeast Maricamp Road, Ocala, 5,725 square feet, 1 acre of land, thriving hardware store with multiple lucrative income streams coming in on this property. Seller is open to financing with a strong down payment. Check out 9594 Southeast Maricamp Road in Ocala, Florida, and you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right. So we got Berny Jacques in studio. I want to make sure I get to this a touch on the market. We talked about a little bit. So when you look at, because we get these questions all the time, month's supply of inventory, what stands out to me if you're looking at Tampa Bay market inventory? Right now, you have 11,943 active listings, and this is the entire Tampa Bay metro, okay? We're looking at a 32.9% change year over year, okay? So inventory actives are up, month supply is up, and also the days on market are up as well, 41 days, average days on market. So I know we get those questions a lot, the real estate market update. There's a quick one for you. All right, Bernie, so let's go back to the homestead. I like what you were talking about with the 3% cap on homestead exemptions.
That's right. So before the break, we mentioned one of the things that's killing homeowners is the fact that the property values have increased so quickly, and so that's going to be reflective in the taxes. I mean, government has to do nothing, right? They can just keep the millage rate the same, and you're still going to be paying, way more than you were the year before, even with the 3% cap. So your listeners will know that currently government, if it's a homestead property, can only value your home up to 3% or up to the CPI, Consumer Price Index, whichever is lower. Now, even with that limitation that we have built in, I mean, it's still costing folks more. So what we're looking into is to extend that time to make that 3% over 3 years. So right now, it's an annual 3% that they can increase it by. We want to make that 3% cap over 3 years. And even on non-homestead property right now, there's a 10% cap of how much they can raise the value. We want to make it 15% over 3 years as well. That will help a lot of folks.
Yeah, we got to help the homeowners. We got to help the folks that have been treated so badly by the last 4 years, the previous 4 years. Trump's returning us back to greatness. I thoroughly believe that. If you look at all the money coming in, $2 billion a day coming in from tariffs. Governor DeSantis doing a great job being fiscally conservative here in the state of Florida. There was an interesting article the other day, or one of the administration was saying, hey, compare New York to Florida. We have about the same people. We actually just surpassed them. And their budget was, what was it, 300 and something billion. Ours is 125 billion. So ours is around 117 billion right now. Theirs is as like twice as much as that. Yeah. And we have more people than them. We provide better services than they do. And so they need to take a page out of our book and reduce their budget and provide better services. That's right. Ours is balanced as well. We're paying down debt. Everybody wants to be here. Berny Jacques, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. And how do you want people to connect with you?
They can go to my Facebook, Berny Jacques for Florida, or find me on X or on Instagram at Berny Jacques.
Follow them, guys. All right, coming up, Jay Smith, A-Snoop Inspection. We got the Snoop Dog in the house. Going to talk some real estate and get some tips from Jay as well. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you. Check out the updated YouTube channels. 700% we're up in views. And consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, we appreciate you. We do. We appreciate you spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Always making you more street smart, buying, selling, investing. Of course, you know that in your real estate business. What you may not know is all of our expert contributors, these are the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay, vetted. We bring them on the show. They talk about their business, but it's more than that. It's a community of like-minded business owners, professionals, all that have a similar worldview. We're looking at helping you save time and money when it comes to your buying decisions. We got Jay Smith joining us in studio today as well. Jay Snoop Dog Smith, that's A-Snoop Inspection. That is correct.
Snoop Dogg is here.
A-Snoop.com. You can find them online. So when you think about, all of the blue-collar companies as well that's associated with the show, sometimes people think, oh, well, it's real estate and mortgage, and that's kind of where it kind of tails off into, and the title and things like that. But it's really, we have all the show partners ranging from health and nutrition. Dr. Scott Anderson coming up on tomorrow's show. We get into health scans with Martine Grammatica. And, we got you covered when you're looking to buy a jet. Anybody out there want to buy a plane or a jet or take some cool trips? Will Smith Aviation. We've got Murphy Auto Group with all of your buying and selling vehicles throughout. He's got 5 dealerships. So a lot of different ways that we help you, especially, even things in your home. You think about America First, PatriotStore.com. We're selling all American-made products. These are things you're using every day, non-woke products in your kitchen, your bathroom, your essential oils, your beef and chicken. So we help you in a lot of different ways. 813-917-1894, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Quick shout out to our friend Lee over at Lee's Royal Services. He does a great job cleaning our real estate properties. He is home and office cleaning, residential, commercial. Lee's RoyalServices.com. Check them out online, Lee'sRoyalServices.com. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right into it with Jay Smith. We got the Snoop Dog in the house, Snoop Inspection. We're going to talk with him here just a quick minute. Let's talk about a property at 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard. This is a $900,000 plus home. Just under $1 million. Rare gem at an excellent price. Magnolia Island is home to about 30 homes in that private community. 5 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, 2-car garage, 3121 square foot on an acre of land. So you have a sprawling estate style home, Cape Cod inspired alcoves. 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard, Claremont, Florida. Beautiful listing from Jamie on the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. 4798 Indigo Road, and this one's up in Groveland. Groveland is kind of on the way to Orlando over that way. 42 acres of land. You got a 2-2 property there, ideal for a residential home development, potentially, building it out and looking at, hey, what can I put in here? What kind of density can I get? 42 acres. 4798 Indigo Road, Groveland, Florida. You can see all of our real estate listings, Platinum MVP team. .kw.com. All right, Jay Smith, welcome back, sir.
Well, how you doing there, Brandon?
Yeah, just blessed and highly favored, man. Kind of in the final days here, waiting for the new baby to come. 30 days plus.
No.
Yeah. Blessed and highly favored, brother.
Yeah, your eyes aren't bloodshot yet, so that'll be a couple more weeks. Or what's up?
We're getting there. That's the theme. Yeah, for sure, man.
No sleep.
Yeah.
Poor Brandon.
Nah, we'll be all right. We get through it. We got a lot of help. That's a good thing.
Hey.
In-laws come in and help, and it's always that family. Having the family around you is always great, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I got mom around, but that's about it down here in Florida. So.
Yeah, down in Florida. What's new in your world, my friend? A-Snoop Inspection.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think about how many inspections I'd need to do to buy a jet.
I know, right? Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's all on my mind right now. You said, all right, buy a jet. It's like, man, that would be a lot of inspections.
Why don't we start with a boat? Let's start. Maybe we'll just buy a boat. I think there's a country song about that.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Just got a boat. Yeah. Have some fun. Get out there and fish. Enjoy the offshore. If you do fishing, which would you prefer? The offshore, inshore, saltwater, or freshwater?
Offshore.
Offshore.
Yeah. I've always liked offshore.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody about taking a trip over to, because I got the Freedom Boat Club, take a trip over to the East Coast A lot of times when you have a boat club like that, a lot of times you're planning a vacation. You're going to plan it like, hey, I'll stay at this hotel. I'll have a beach day and a pool day, and then I'll do a boat day.
Right.
You know, and you'll kind of break up your vacation. But anyways, the East Coast, that's where they got us on fishing because they are going short ways out there in the Gulf Stream.
And you're
right?
deep.
Yeah.
It's deep water quick.
You're dropping off and you're catching all kinds of good fish.
Yeah.
Really fast.
That is the difference. But you have to deal with the rough waters because it's very rarely calm over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where the Gulf beats it in that sense that, yeah, we get a rough day here and there, but most days are pretty nice out there.
Well, speaking of hurricanes, too, season, coming up, it's time to get prepped. Everybody know what you got to do. Get out there and do it. Fill up your gas cans. Get your extra propane. Go out and do it. Don't procrastinate and wait till everybody else does. But the East Coast used to have the storms all the time. I remember, especially growing up in my teens, going into, you'd see it. It's almost always the East Coast getting hit, and very rarely did you see it come over to the West Coast.
And like you said, that's changed. I mean, I don't even know what year's the last time the East Coast had an actual storm.
Yeah, they had that one that scraped up down the whole thing for a while there,
a
few years back. But yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. But when you think about preparation for that, what comes to mind? What do we need to know when it comes to the real estate industry?
Well, if you want to find out information as a homeowner, most of us in this area have had a wind mitigation done. But do you actually know what all those different sections of the wind mitigation mean? Like if you really want to know what you can do to improve your home, we're a company that actually understands each section of it and can explain it and maybe give you some ideas on what home improvements you would put on your list, especially like your tie downs. If you're a home built before 2000, you're likely to not even have hurricane clips. Unless you've upgraded it at one time or another.
And that's something that you'd find in the attic?
Yep, we'd find that in the attic, and that's how your roof is attached to the walls, as far as the framing goes.
Got it.
And we can, give you an idea on how you can improve that, and that can be a large savings on your insurance.
Insurances,
I mean, that's the big thing.
To me, that's a no-brainer. If you don't have that and you're living in Florida in 2025, you're setting yourself up for a massive failure.
And some houses are easier than others. I mean, some of them it's a matter of just adding a nail. Hence the third nail that's talked about. People hear about it and they're like, well, what the heck is the third nail?
Yeah.
It's the fact that there's only two nails tying down that rafter or truss to the wall. Adding a third nail actually makes it a clip.
Yeah, I hear you. If you just joined us, we're talking with Jay Smith, A-Snoop Inspection here, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I got the latest real estate stats here, Jay. Tampa Bay market, looking at detached single-family home residences. This is Hillsborough, Pasco, and Pinellas County combined. You got your total number of new listings as of May, 4,647. So that's a slight increase from a year ago. It's 1.9% increase. The number of active listings right now currently, just about 12,000 active listings.
Wow.
That number is up 33% year over year.
So there's lots to choose from.
So you got more options as buyers. Yep. So buyers have more options.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say more leverage. But it's interesting, though. You look at this month's supply of inventory. We're at 3.5 months supply of inventory.
That's actually down slightly
That's low.
Compared to a couple months ago, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, because the stats I read off here, I'm breaking down county by county. So this was last month. Let's just look at the first one I grabbed here. This was Pinellas County. See, this one's saying 5.6 months.
Yeah.
But when you combine Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco on this one, that's what this one is. This one's showing that you have 3.5 months supply of inventory. Now, what's interesting, though, from a year, looking at that comparable to a year ago, that's up 46%. Mm-hmm. Got the green arrow here with the 46
so
number.
we were on like 18 months or something a year
So
ago?
you're less inventory. Yeah, 2.4 months supply. The median sales price, $420,000. That's, again, this is the Tampa Bay area combined. Let's see, what's another notable.
Is that even or is that slightly down compared to a year ago?
That is the, which one were you looking at? Median?
Median price.
Median price, $420,000. That's down 3.4%.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah, so you're down just a little bit. That means people are negotiating more. They're willing to, make some deals. They're willing to give concessions. They're saying, hey, I'll give you some cash from my profit. I'll take some of my equity as a seller, and I'll give it to you. I'll bonus this to you as a buyer. I'm going to give you concessions. So in essence, what I'm doing is I'm helping you come to the table with less money out of pocket. Now, people like that because every time you move into a home, you still got to buy a lot of times a lawnmower. You got to buy some cleanup stuff. You got to, buy some trash cans that you didn't expect to have, one over here, one over
the
there.
Interior for your own touch, or
Yep.
even just cleaning it up. I mean, there's lots of things that got to be done when you change homes.
So you got those move-in expenses. So that's why I like the idea of negotiating in concessions from the sellers. And right now is the time. I keep kind of beating that drum. Boom, boom, boom. Right now is the time. Make those offers. You don't have to go in at full price. There's no rule that says you have to offer full price on a listing, especially if the days on market are up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, even at 3.5 months, that's not quite a buyer's market, but it's getting closer. I mean,
you're balanced between 5 and 7.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like we're not quite there. Still somewhat of a seller's market, but it sure feels like it's more of a buyer's market.
It does.
Today.
And that's a good point you make, because I think that sentiment, because the number, if you just look at the numbers, yes, that does say seller's market. But if you go by, the insurance cost, the appreciation that we were just talking about with Representative Berny Jacques on the appreciation, we played a clip of DeSantis talking about how so many people moved here, it pushed the numbers up, right?
Yep.
All those taxable assessments went up big time. So now you got taxes, but guess what didn't go up as much? I'm guessing incomes, right? Yeah, incomes and take home pay, right? Because you still had some taxation, and so yeah. Look, hey, let's do some common sense stuff here. There's some legislation being proposed. It's going to be structured as a constitutional amendment to strengthen the homestead exemption. Let's increase that homestead exemption, like Bernie was saying, up to $500,000, and then if you've been in the home for X number of years, up to $1 million, you're exempt. You don't pay anything on that. Let's do some common sense things, because again, I think that's an 80-20. What do you call it? Vote there, right?
No, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of hardly, maybe, because you always got the 20 that just go against anything just because they're probably ignorant and maybe have some other issues.
Well,
but
sometimes they just want to go against the grain. That has nothing to do with
anything. And I'm fine if you got merit. If your conversation has merit and your argument has merit and it makes sense. Hey, let's debate things. But these types of issues, like the men and women's sports, that's another 90-10 issue, 80-20 issue. How can you really argue the other side on that? So property taxes. Hey, the government wants to stop taking as much from you every year. Your property tax, they want to lower your taxes. Are you okay with that? I mean, I have a hard time justifying somebody saying, 15% or 10% saying, no, we're not okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather do for myself for a lot of things. I know some people would prefer more government and have the government take care of things, but I'm not for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Look at free markets. So Jay Smith, A-Snoop Inspection, helping people out with the wind mitigations, residential properties, commercial properties. Talk about a recent success story. I think you helped a couple clients of mine recently too, didn't you? There was a roof issue that we had up in Port Richey area, Newport Richey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but yeah, I remember going out to some properties. I've done some new construction here lately. That we're doing a lot of inspections on that. I'll actually be back up in Homosassa on Monday doing another new construction. So if you're buying a new house, that's the deal that you like, hey, I would still have it inspected and get checked out. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it's not. I mean, not to say anything, the Friday afternoon stuff that gets missed, that everyone's trying to get out of the property, but I would definitely have those checked out. We even do pre-drywall inspections. So if you're in the middle of it, you can really find out about that home. Even have done some, several inspections on the flooded out homes that the drywall still isn't in, that they want to check out, say, how far do we need to go?
Yeah.
And I've done multiple, out on Treasure Island, checking those out. I was actually on a house on the Causeway the other day.
Yeah. You must get a home inspection done, even if it's with a builder. You've got to have your own set of eyes. You ever hear, it's just like going into court and saying, yeah, I'll just go with the other attorney, let him represent the court and me. No, you have to go in there and say, look, why, you got to scrutinize things. You got to go in and say, look, this is something that I would like to see addressed by the foreman, on Monday, and before we give our final deposit or, whatever the situation is, this is something I want to see addressed. And I want to see, you got to see that before the drywall goes up, because we've seen mistakes made, and then you catch that mistake later, it's costing you so much more money. They're not going to want to abide by the warranty in a lot of cases.
And I tell you what, I would let the builder know right away that you're planning on inspections, because I just think that puts something in their ear that they pay attention even a little bit closer to it.
That's right.
And even if it's a few things, it'll make a better constructed house, period.
Yeah. They're going to mark that file as, hey, this person's engaged.
Yes.
Yeah. This
exactly.
isn't an out-of-state buyer. They were the granddaughters overseeing the transaction for whatever, however that situation might play out, right? All right, so Jay Smith, A-Snoop Inspection, longtime friend of the show. Support the local economy by supporting my friend Jay Smith, a-snoop.com, 813-917-1894. Any of our expert contributors can be reached through this number. It's 813-917-1894. Quick break, right back. By the way, quick update. Captain Will Smith, another rescue with Grey Bull Rescue down in Haiti just recently. So,
awesome.
So good stuff happening there on the Will's Way Foundation, the executive director on the board. So kind of got the inside story on that, but really cool. Saving orphans down in Haiti. Good stuff. We're the good guys here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check us out online, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Blue Moon Estate Sales of Pinellas County for all of your estate sale needs. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. Reach out to Jennifer. Tell her you heard about her here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. And stop by their store, the Blue Moon Store, at 1479 South Belcher in Largo. 1479 South Belcher in Largo. And that's BlueMoonEstateSales.com. SJ Movers and Junk Removal, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 727-717-0846 for all your moving and junk removal. 727-717-0846. SJ Movers and Junk Removal. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, got to tell you about our friends over at Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance, very friendly waitstaff, and we have some of our business mixers, gratitude parties, events there as well. They have a special menu going on right now as well, the Pronto Lunch menu items, some really awesome items for $12.95. You've got pastas there, flatbreads, enchiladas, all types of good stuff. And they also have live music, special events, live music on the rooftop. Check out Brio Tuscan Grill. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. They're right there at the International Plaza Mall on the north side of West Shore. We're talking with Jay Smith, the Snoop Dog, in studio with us, A-Snoop Inspection. His website is a-snoop.com. He'll get in the home and snoop around a little bit for you, find some issues maybe. Hey, look, almost every house is going to have something, Jay, right?
I mean, it doesn't matter whether I'm doing a $300,000 home, or even a $100,000 mobile home, or a $3 million house. There's going to be some issues in it.
You're going to find something.
Luckily, I mean, most houses don't have crazy issues,
Yeah.
but there's almost always something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be, a breaker box, an outlet that doesn't work, a ceiling fan that's not hitting right. There's going to be something. So, Jay Smith.
Moisture stains from a previous leak, but then you get to find out that, hey, the leak was fixed. They just hadn't repainted. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you
That's
come
the
up with.
majority of the time you see that. They don't get around to painting it. I'm like, well, you should have painted it. You wouldn't have the questions. But
you're throwing some kills up there and some paint.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. So, all right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right back into it. 10129 Little Road. This one's in Newport Richey. Commercial land, vacant properties, vacant land, commercial properties. We're selling it all. This one on Little Road, 10129 Little Road, is 2,337 square feet. It's over an acre of land. It's set up perfectly for any type of business that maybe a chiropractor office, doctor office, dentist, orthodontist, something along those lines. New roof installed in 2020. You've got a nice footprint here as well. ADA compliant entrance ramp and bathroom. Great opportunity to buy real estate here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Another one of our awesome listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We got some land at South Taylor Road. We got vacant land for sale. South Taylor Road. This one's prime for development of duplexes. It's 2.5 acres zoned over there at RDC 6. Per the owner, he says it's high and dry and flood zone X. So great opportunity there, close to I-4, I-75. Check out South Taylor Road, Seffner, Florida. Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down.
I haven't played that one in a while, but it seems to be relevant with everything in the news. Try that in a small town. Come around here and start spitting on our police and all that kind of thing. It's a big city thing.
I know. It just doesn't make sense.
It's a big city thing. It's all funded. They need to cut off the funding. By the way, all this talk about tariffs, check this one out.
And for those of you that want to know the tariffs, you've been hearing about tariffs, we're taking in almost $2 billion a day in tariffs.
$2 billion a day we're taking in tariffs. With all that talk about tariffs and the jobs are up.
Work.
Everything's good, right? Yeah. The left will say tariffs don't work. All right, Jay, let's go through these real estate stats. We were talking about this. Kind of interesting. Which one of those stats stood out the most to you? We talked about median sales price, $420,000 median sales price here in Tampa Bay. That is down 3.4% year over year. A year ago, it was $435,000. What was the other ones we were looking at? Oh, the amount of sales that had seller concessions in it.
Yeah.
The amount of sales, 49% had seller concessions. That's, if you fully understand that, that's where the seller is gifting equity. They're giving money to the buy side of the transaction, so the buyer doesn't have to come out of pocket with closing costs and or prepaids. So that's what seller concessions. Almost half of the deals. That's a little surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It just means it's a good time to buy. Get out there and look. I mean, there's inventory, there's concessions. I mean, what more do you want? I mean,
sold
really.
Above list price. What percentage sold above list price? 25.8%.
That surprises me. That's probably the most surprising to me. I figured it'd be flatter than that.
Yeah, you'd think in this market, but certain areas, certain pockets, as we were talking about between the break, they're gonna just people are gonna eat them up. There's gonna be a great neighborhood. It's priced right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. If it's priced right, it will sell quickly, and you're not going to underprice it because you'll have multiple bids. You'll have multiple people bidding on it. So don't worry about that's the thing you get sometimes from sellers. Where do you want people to connect with you?
Hey, go to www.a-snoop.com or give the office a call. Set up an appointment, 813-345-2600.
Repeat.
813-345-2600.
All right, Jay Smith, A-Snoop Inspection. We had Berny Jacques on the show as well. Great show today, and please go out there and consider committing that random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And thank you so much for supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. All of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.